it's not for no reason that I don't particularly enjoy gardening in the winter, and yeah, one of the main reasons is this. It has absolutely chucked it down now for several days. The temperature has dipped. I've got so many layers on, I've lost count. But the main reason I want to come up today is I've got some broad beans to put in, which I shall do in a minute. But I just wanted to give a few words of support to those who are feeling a little bit weary and a little bit without their mojo. But before I do, I can hear clamouring from the chicken coop, so I'm going to go and bring my friends in first. What you doing, eh? Are you going to come out? Come on then. Try and do this with a handful of corn. Does it work? Come on, girls. Come on. I'm hoping they've followed me. Are you coming in? I'd like to think it's because of my charm and engaging personality, but I know fine well it's just for corn. So there you go. Let's get you in. And actually, you know what? I'm going to shut this door so they don't go out. But yeah, I think it takes quite a hardened, and I'm certainly not one, it takes quite a hardened gardener to come up when it's freezing cold, it's soaking wet, and to be honest, there's nothing much to harvest, there's nothing going on, but we have got exciting things to come. If you remember last week I came up and I was surprised that Mike had actually put some onions in. He must have sneaked up again, because look, that whole bench now is full of seed trays. But fortunately for me, he hasn't used this one, which is the one I use for my broad beans. So yeah, 28 bits in that, modules. So yeah, let's get this filled up. It's actually warmed up a little bit now. Has it warmed up, or have I just acclimatised? Anyway, I've taken my coat off. So yeah, broad beans. I mean, literally, these are ones that we had left in our seed tin from last year. So these haven't been opened. And they're just broad beans. Bunyard's exhibition. The year, was it last year or the year before? I grew some beautiful red leaved broad beans, so really, really pretty, but I've done that now. The beans themselves aren't spectacular. Nice one to grow if you fancy a change, but good old Bunyard's exhibition, and these say blah, 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 40 seeds, we shall see. And yeah, so by December 2025. So why am I doing my beans now? If I waited now, when we think we are coming up to the end of February now, and really you can start planting them outside from March onwards if your ground isn't waterlogged. I mean, there'll be people who planted them October, November time to overwinter outside, and they'll get a slightly earlier crop, excuse me, earlier crop, but I didn't. So I'm doing them in these now, so hopefully by the time they get to go outside, by the time the ground's dried up a little bit, because it really is sodden at the minute, these should have formed into nice healthy young plants. So whatever size those modules are is what I'm going for. Whatever compost this is what I'm going for. Oh, I will take these off, because they're not going to be in it for very long. This is number one young plant compost, so yeah, I'm not a fan, to be honest. I've got my seedlings at home in this. I've got my chilli seeds in it, and I just don't like the texture at all, if I show you that. Uh-oh. But they are only in it for about 4 weeks. Hopefully they'll have germinated, let's hope so. So yeah, so any longer than that really, and the nutrient level of the compost will start to deplete. So I'll get them in now while I can, if Mike hasn't used all the compost here, yonder seedlings. So we'll see what we do. But yeah, broad beans, eh? When I was growing up in the last century, as I always say, broad beans were the bane of school dinners. They were just, yeah, who on earth liked them? They were served completely overcooked. The skins were always left on. They were just, I mean, if we thought cabbage was bad, broad beans was just a bit of I might take a bit of a sickie and not go to school day, but I wouldn't recommend that. It's not good. Yeah, not nice at all. Whereas now, not only are they one of the first crops that we harvest in the garden, but they've just been reborn. They've been reinvented, haven't they? Rebranded, because, I mean, it's a bit fiddly sometimes if you want to take the peel off, etc. But I've put too much on now because I'm talking. But yeah, they're good. And apparently, they used to symbolise your... Oh, hello. Hello. Do you think this is for you? Apparently, did you know this, Sybil? They used to symbolise death. Yeah, the humble broad bean. Who'd have thought it had any symbolism at all? But yeah, Egyptians, Romans, the Greeks, they did. They all thought it was a symbol of death, or helped you connect with Hades and all that sort of thing. So there's more interest to them than you would think. So yeah, some nice uneven modules there. We'll get rid of the pebbles out the compost. Yeah, so what I wanted to say, I mean, you'll have seen 101 people plant a broad bean. Let me just go through the basics, and then once I show you one, I mean, I'm not going to show you it 27 more times. So open the packet upside down as ever. Here's your bean. Okay, at one end you've got the eye. That's where the shoot will come out. You want to try and put it on its side with that bit facing up, if at all possible. Do not worry, don't be a purist about it. Do not worry if your broad bean, if you cover it up with soil and then you've got it standing beautifully and all of a sudden it goes flat. The reason people stand it on its side rather than have it flat like that is because it's more likely to rot if it's that way around, whereas that way you've got it the right way up. There's less surface area for water to pool in, if you like. But yeah, don't worry about it, because roots will go down and shoots will go up. And even when they're covered in soil, it's quite amazing that they can find their way to the light. So yeah, if you think your beans might be old or they might be a bit dud, you can soak them in a glass of water overnight. Don't soak them for too long or they'll start to chit. And any that float to the surface are likely to be duds. Now, I'm not 100% certain that works. It's worked for me. So if you're a little bit concerned, just give it a go. But yeah, all I'm doing now is just pushing them in sideways on. And I want to make sure they've got enough room that I can fill them with about 1 inch of compost. And that's all there is to it. Nothing exciting, really. But yeah, I think for me, as I've said, this time of year, where we are in the world, so we're in the UK, we are very much defined, we're always talking about the weather, our garden is very much defined by the seasons. So we've got spring, where there's hope and everyone's really enthusiastic. We've got summer, which just makes it an absolute joy to be outside. She says, with so many British summers under her belt, you know, huddling under cagoules and umbrellas. But yeah, theoretically, that should happen. And then in autumn, we have that beautiful, bounteous time of harvesting. And it's all lovely. And then come winter, the garden takes a bit of a rest. And I think the frustrating thing for many people is that they are still up and about and doing stuff, and they're still wanting to do stuff in the garden. And yeah, there's things to do for over winter. There always are. You know, get your beds sorted. If there's any structures to be built, get them built. Order your manure, get your manuring, get your compost bay. So many things to do, but your gardening takes a different turn. And I found, I mean, I've been gardening for years now, that by the time it then comes back round to January, February time, so where we are now, you've almost got out of the habit of doing your gardening. And part of you're fed up by now, and you start to think, I don't know, will I get it back? I was really excited last year. I'm not excited. I can say this from my experience. It might not apply to everybody, but as sure as the days are getting longer and the weather starts to get a bit milder, you will start to feel like getting out in the garden again. Not just getting out in the garden, but that whole buzz about sowing and planting. For me, it's like a natural thing. I am very much a snuggle up by a log fire with a coffee and a piece of cake person in the winter. You know, I'm not a hardy gardener. I know a lot of people do. And I think I put that down to the fact that I am so privileged that I can garden as and when I want. I do not have to depend on it for my food. Many people do. And yeah, of course, they work hard all year round. But for me, no. The garden has a rest. I have a rest. And with that, yeah, you've really got to sometimes just G yourself back into that frame of mind that yeah, it's all going to be worth it again this year. And there are so many people, and I think I did a video on it. Run out of seeds. I did it a couple of years ago. Just where's my mojo? Lost my mojo. It's like a natural thing. It's like an innate thing. It is with me anyway. And again, I can only speak from my experience, but it's like the sap. I don't know if this is a very good term to use. It's like the sap starts to rise. Whatever other hobby you do, I'm not saying this is necessarily a hobby, it's very much part of my life, it's much more than that. But whatever other pastime you do, or you might think of doing, is that seasonal? You can go swimming, you can go any time of the year, you can go running, you can go any time of the year. Okay, it's a bit harder in the winter because, you know, it's going to be freezing roads, etc. Ballroom dancing, I don't know why these are coming into my head. Knitting, cooking, bread making, any of these things you can do any time of the year, and it doesn't necessarily matter what the weather's doing and what Mother Nature is doing. But gardening, and we do have to get used to this, Mother Nature will have the last laugh. She will tell us when she's ready. She will do what she wants when she wants, and sometimes that's cracked. You see that one? That's going to go back. Okay. And sometimes she doesn't want to play ball, and we all get very cross with her, but we can control what she does to a certain extent, but we can't control the seasons. So do not worry at all. There's a pebble in there. Do not worry at all if you are feeling a little bit wearisome. Don't fret about it. I think that's what I mean. It's not meant to be, again, because we are in a privileged position, it's not meant to be an onerous task. I know, particularly if you make YouTube videos, it can seem like that because you feel like people want to see you in the garden doing stuff and they're used to seeing you every week, and you know, and there's nothing to do. As I said in my video last week, if there's nothing to do, I'm not going to make stuff up. There's just nothing to do. So yeah, I hope that makes you feel a little bit better. It's supposed, it's not meant to make you feel worse. But yeah, I would say I'm quite experienced in the field of feeling a bit lackluster, shall we say, at this time of year. And not feeling it, just not feeling it. But it passes. It's passed for me. Maybe maybe you're not put out the garden, maybe you're going to be absolutely brilliant at something else. But don't let it get you down. It's not supposed to get you down. It's supposed to be something you enjoy. Try and water gently. I should just go down and get a hose, but I'm just going to dribble this slowly on top. I should have them standing in a tray as well. I'm doing it all back to front, but like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just give it a go. Okay, so there we are. Let's see if I've got a tray. Yeah, no tray. Okay, plush on top. There we go. Perfect. You know what? Look, I've got no space left over here at all now. I do need to get a gravel tray underneath this. Oh, something's coming up. You see, again, things are coming up. They're all onions, I think. Oh, we've got some exhibition onions here. Okay, they're Mike's. And then a few cauliflowers and cabbages. But yeah, starts to get really exciting. So yeah, job done there. And already, having seen mite seeds coming up, and imagine, every time I come up now, I'm going to be peeking at those beans to see what's going on. So already, yeah, I can feel things are on the turn, and that little tinge of excitement is starting to... Now you see, you've got yourself one wing out, haven't you? Now you don't look at all comfortable. Come here, come on. There we are, that's your friend. Oh, there you... Well, okay, at this point I'm going to say goodbye. Let me know in the comments below how you're doing, how your mojo is, what you're looking forward to this year. And yeah, better get these two rascals back. See you soon. Come on.